After pulling an all-nighter running loot raids in the Delta game, I suddenly dropped dead, and woke up as the hidden billionaire heir in a simp novel, living under an assumed name. Right now, I'm standing at the entrance of my family's 5-star hotel ballroom, watching the campus belle female lead celebrate her first love's birthday. The system wants me to play the simp, follow the plot, kneel and grovel for the female lead, letting her emotionally and physically torment me in every possible way. In the end, she's supposed to realize I'm better than her first love. Once her regret meter hits 100%, she'll have an epiphany and start a self-destructive, humiliating campaign to win me back. That's when I'll complete the mission, revive in the real world, and receive a reward of 300 million. The system encouraged me, saying, "Host, the female lead deliberately didn't invite you to this birthday banquet. She even used your privileges to treat the entire class, all because she didn't want you to ruin her first love special moment." According to the original plot, once you barge in, everyone will mock you, although the female lead will angrily kick you out. Seeing your lonely back as you leave will still add 5 points of regret. So come on, act it out properly. I smiled knowingly. Only 5 points of regret, and you expect me to swallow that kind of humiliation? I casually froze the secondary black card, called over the banquet manager, and said, "From today on, Willow doesn't get free charges anymore. Bill her at full price." I really want to see what happens when that stupid female lead realizes she can't afford the bill. Will her regret value still be just 5 points then? Chapter 1. Very well, young master. The banquet manager agreed eagerly, so excited he nearly jumped on the spot. For the past few years, he had been furious at the original owner's simp behavior, hating it with a passion yet powerless to change it. The original owner's lovesick, kneeling devotion to Willow had become her license to act without restraint. She was nothing more than a nanny's daughter, yet she repeatedly pretended to be a rich heiress and hosted banquets for the entire class. Every single time, she deliberately ordered only the most expensive food and wine, letting them eat to their fill and even pack things to take away. In just 3 short years, the hotel had suffered losses amounting to tens of millions. While that money meant nothing to the richest family, the manager simply couldn't stand watching his young master act like a dog for such an ungrateful, pretentious coquette. Thankfully, the heavens had eyes at last. The young master had finally woken up. Suppressing the smile tugging at his lips, he asked, "Young master, should I go in now to collect the bill and kick them out?" Just as I was about to nod, the system let out a piercing alarm inside my head. "Host, you cannot change the main storyline, or you'll be electrocuted. You must barge into the banquet hall and be mocked by everyone." I clicked my tongue impatiently. "Then why didn't you shock me just now? You didn't affect the main plot earlier. Get in there now, or I'll really shock you." I quickly leaned in and whispered to the banquet manager, "Do as I say later. Wait until I leave before collecting the money." After giving my instructions, I lifted my foot and stepped into the banquet hall. Willow's affectionate singing performance for Makoto had just ended. She said generously, "Thank you all for coming to celebrate Makoto Ito's birthday today. Don't hold back, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. It's on me." Everyone immediately began showering her with flattery, as expected of our Miss Lu, the rich heiress. Being able to cut loose in the most luxurious hotel in the entire city, this kind of generosity is insane. If it weren't for riding on young Master Ito's coattails, we'd never have a chance to spend money in a place like this in our lives. Beautiful and wealthy, that was Willow Lu's image in everyone's eyes. For the past 3 years, she had constantly manipulated the original owner. She spent his money without the slightest sense of responsibility as a girlfriend. She even complained to him, "You can hide your identity if you want, but you can't let me suffer for it. Since our relationship can't be public anyway, isn't it better if I get close to other people to help you cover things up?" The original owner could only swallow his humiliation and watch her act lovey-dovey with her first love every single day. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but sneer. The original owner was a simp, but I am not. Willow's so-called rescue and companionship from childhood had absolutely no effect on me. Finally, some classmates noticed my grim expression as I appeared in the banquet hall and immediately began mocking me. Well, how can someone be so shameless, showing up uninvited to freeload? George, you poor bastard. Don't you get tired of staring at Willow all the time? She only helped sponsor you out of kindness. You didn't seriously think she was into you, did you? Exactly. A toad daring to pull a long face, what a joke. For 3 whole years of college, everyone had firmly believed Willow's clumsy lies. They thought the original owner was just a sponsored simp, a lackey, the son of a nanny. Every single one of them was unbelievably stupid. Willow frowned and walked up to me, lowering her voice. "What are you doing here? Go back right now." At this point in the plot, the male lead was supposed to ask her in humiliation, "Why did you celebrate his birthday behind my back?" Then he would be scolded by the female lead, retreating in dejection and grievance. The system urged me on as well. Host, hurry up and say your lines, then leave. 5 points of regret value are about to be credited. But in that instant, a brilliant prank plan flashed through my mind. The corner of my lips curled up as I said something absolutely no one expected. Chapter 2. I'm just working a part-time job here by coincidence. What's wrong with you people? Did you all suddenly get possessed by drama queens? Or have you watched too many brain-dead short skits? If there's something wrong with your brains, stay away from me. I'm not a vet, I can't treat animals. I looked at the loudest toady from earlier and continued. Running your filthy mouth in a so-called high-class setting, what a low-life piece of trash. TSK. Figures. You're only fit to kiss ass and clap for others. The entire hall fell silent in an instant. Toady number 1 went pale. His face drained of all color. The system screamed. Host, you're not following the plot. How am I not following it? I entered the banquet. They mocked me, and the female lead is regretting it. What else do you want? Seeing Willow's regret value jump to 5%, the system immediately went quiet. At this moment, Willow truly did feel regret. She blamed herself for not soothing me properly, for pushing me to the point of snapping and hurling insults. The part-time job excuse was nothing more than a pretext for my revenge. Thinking this, she forced down her emotions, pulled me aside, and whispered, George, I only urged you to leave because I was afraid your identity would be exposed. It's for your safety. Please go back. Okay. I nodded and said yes. She froze for a moment, clearly not expecting me to change my attitude so quickly, but the toady I had just insulted wasn't about to let it go. He angrily blocked my path. You useless coward. You insult people and think you can just leave. I'm filing a complaint with the hotel. I'll make sure you don't get a single cent. He caused a scene and summoned the banquet manager, pointing at my nose as he yelled. This kid works for your hotel, right? A poor little worker daring to mouth off to guests. I want you to fire him immediately and throw him out. Otherwise, no one in our circle will ever spend money at your hotel again. The manager's expression instantly turned serious, while I almost burst out laughing. A bunch of freeloading losers living off clinging to Willow's leg, talking about circles. What a joke. Though that last sentence was correct, they really would never get another chance to spend money here again. He is indeed an employee of our hotel. We sincerely apologize for the unpleasant experience. Dear guests, as compensation, the hotel is willing to offer a 10% discount on today's expenses. Would that be acceptable? The toady's face lit up, his arrogance swelling even more. That's more like it. This brat ruined our mood today. You need to give us an explanation. Others chimed in. That's right. Fire him. Kick him out. The manager looked at me awkwardly. I merely smiled faintly and stared straight at Willow. Are you sure you want me to leave? Her face stiffened. She was just about to speak when Makoto interrupted. Can you simp stop clinging to Willow already? The one she likes is me. What she feels for you is nothing but childhood familiarity. She's not from the same world as a poor loser like you. Know your place and get lost. My birthday banquet doesn't welcome you. As he spoke, he wrapped an arm around Willow's shoulders. Willow didn't shake him off. She pressed her lips together and said softly, George, you should go back first. Everyone mocked in unison. Did you hear that? Get lost and stop ruining young Master Ito's birthday. I reached up and casually dug a finger in my ear, sneering back. A bunch of beggar dogs freeloading off Willow. What are you barking for? You probably can't even afford a decent bottle of red wine normally. Stop pretending you're elite, toadies. That line hit exactly where it hurt. The toady who'd been insulted the worst earlier went completely red in the face. Who the hell are you calling names? We're good friends with Willow. She's happy to treat us. Who do you think you are? You sour mutt? Others joined in. Exactly. You're obviously just jealous she's celebrating young Master Ito's birthday. Manager, add another round of the most expensive dishes on your menu, and 20 bottles of Romani Conti. We'll smash some people's dog mouths with real money. Toady number 1 shouted. Willow's expression changed slightly as she tried to stop things from spiraling out of control, but Makoto Ito took her hand. Willow, thank you for everything you've done for me. Everyone, don't let some irrelevant person ruin the mood. Come, cheers. He raised his glass, completely cutting off any chance for Willow to speak. She smiled at the manager. Uncle Zhang, go ahead and serve what they ordered. The manager acknowledged and left. Toady number 1 pointed at me and roared. Throw this worthless brat out. I followed the manager out with a cold smile. The system said excitedly. Host, after they added all those items, Willow's regret value really jumped another 10 points. You're amazing. Just wait. It'll go up more later. I tilted my mouth into a crooked grin and headed down to the garage, driving away in the Maybach Willow had borrowed to keep up appearances. Not long after I returned to the villa, my phone was practically blown up by her calls. The system shouted excitedly. Holy shit, the female lead almost couldn't pay the bill. Her regret value just shot up to 40%. I swirled my wine glass, somewhat disappointed. Only 40. I thought I could push it to at least 50. The system tried to encourage me. There's still another scene tonight. She'll come back and question why you appeared at the banquet. If you follow the original script, say it was just a coincidence and act hurt and heartbroken, you can make her feel even more guilty and gain another 5 points of regret. Before it could finish, there was a loud bang. The villa's front door was kicked open, and Willow stormed in, angrily smashing my wine glass to the floor. Chapter 3. George, why did you disable the black card's secondary card and make the manager charge me? And you deliberately drove the car away too, didn't you? Trying to mess with me. Following the plot, I put on an innocent face. No, I didn't. I just happened to be eating there. As for anything else, I really don't know. Stop pretending. You're the only one who can disable the secondary card. Willow was so angry she was practically smoking. I almost humiliated myself in front of the whole class today. Turn the secondary card back on right now, or we break up. The system screeched a warning. Host, hurry and salvage this. In the original text, the female lead never mentions breaking up. If the plot deviates, you'll be electrocuted. Relax. If she were really willing to break up, I'd take your last name. I spoke unhurriedly. You want to break up with me? Are you sure? Auntie Lou, starting tomorrow, you don't need to come here to work anymore. You're fired. I shouted toward the kitchen, where Willow's mother was making a late-night snack. Startled, she rushed out clutching a ladle. Young master, what do you mean by that? Your daughter wants to break up with me. I've always liked things clean and decisive. Since the relationship is over, we'll settle everything together. Willow's mother's face went deathly pale. She turned around and smacked Willow Lou hard on the head with the ladle. You stupid girl, what nonsense are you spouting? Young master, Willow is just spoiled and talking out of anger. I'll discipline her properly for you. She cursed viciously as she kept hitting her. You ungrateful brat. Are you trying to kill me with anger? I've worked for the Wong family for so many years. Are you trying to make me lose my job at the end of my life? Apologize to the young master right now. Willow had never endured this kind of treatment. She screamed repeatedly as she was beaten. From childhood to now, it had always been the original owner who fawned over the mother and daughter. After the two got into university, Willow's mother had even been specially transferred over to serve them. Serve? My ass. She only needed to put on a show in public. In private, she had long been enjoying the life of a wealthy lady thanks to her daughter. Hearing that Willow wanted to break up with me was essentially destroying Willow's mother's dream of becoming the richest man's mother-in-law. She wished she could beat this ignorant daughter to death. Willow's eyes were filled with resentment, yet her mouth kept begging and compromising. I'm sorry, George. Today was my fault. We won't break up. Please forgive me. Okay. The system finally breathed a sigh of relief. I waved my hand calmly. Fine, I'll give you one more chance. With that, I stood up and leisurely returned to my room. Willow and her mother were completely dumbfounded. Neither of them could understand why I had suddenly changed. Under her mother's interrogation, Willow confessed everything that had happened that day. Through the surveillance feed, I heard that she had spent every bit of the pocket money the male lead had given her over the years just to pay the bill. And to save face, she even lied that the car had been taken away by the driver for maintenance, then took a luxury taxi back. Mom, that driver is still waiting outside. Go pay him quickly. After hearing this, her mother cursed furiously. You stupid girl. I always told you to save money and stop spending so recklessly. Now look, you almost went too far this time. The regret value above Willow's had instantly shot up to 50%. The system was completely stunned. It's only been one day, and it's already 50. I yawned. Don't celebrate at halftime. The later plot will probably be harder. Sure enough, over the next 3 months, Willow began carrying out her punishment on me, exactly as written in the original text. Chapter 4. In the original story, she tried to take revenge on the male lead and make him jealous. In a fit of anger, she moved straight into the dorms and became even more openly intimate with Makoto on campus. She not only ate campus meals with him every day, but also gladly accepted all kinds of cheap gifts and love confessions from him. In the original plot, this gave the male lead a deep sense of crisis, pushing him to become an even worse simp, desperately begging for her forgiveness. He not only handed over his black card with both hands, but even used the luxury yacht his billionaire parents had given him to please her. Forced by the main storyline, I had no choice but to play along as well. After Willow got hold of the black card, she predictably began tormenting me even more aggressively. First, she ordered the driver to switch to an even more high-end car. Then she deliberately cut down my daily expenses, calling it a test of me. Even the regret value plummeted all the way down to a pitiful 10 points. The system couldn't help complaining, but I sneered coldly. Was this exactly what you wanted, forcing me to follow the main storyline? The original owner's simp behavior was never going to make anyone regret anything. Host, if the regret value drops to 0, the mission will be considered a failure. You'll be erased immediately, and I'll be punished too. The system said anxiously. Relax. Did you forget we're about to reach the most critical plot turning point? It suddenly realized. Right. The female lead is about to invite the whole class onto a yacht to celebrate graduation. She nearly gets drugged by her first love and ends up sleeping with him. You discover it in time and stop it. During the argument, Makoto pushes you into the sea. You nearly drown and become a vegetable. The billionaire is furious and demands accountability. The female lead conveniently shifts all the blame onto the male supporting role, then starts regretting everything and tearfully swears her devotion to you. The system instantly became alert. Host, with your personality, there's no way you'll tolerate that, right? I let out a sinister chuckle. Exactly. That's why this scene, I'm going to perform it beautifully. The system shuddered, the corners of its mouth twitching as it squeezed out 2 words. Living ancestor. 1 week later, the plot finally reached the day Willow invited the entire class onto the yacht to celebrate graduation. The show was finally about to begin. Chapter 5. Before boarding, Willow showed off to everyone. She claimed the yacht was a graduation gift from her family. In private, she held my hand and said affectionately, "George, this yacht is the gift you personally promised me, to me, your family, so you'll cooperate with me, right? Tomorrow I'll go back to City A with you. We'll never be separated again. Tonight is my last night with them. Just humor me. Let me give my youth a final farewell. Okay." What she really meant was that she still wanted me to cooperate and finish acting out this last scene with her, to help her maintain her image as a rich heiress. I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. This pretentious coquette really had the original owner's simp mentality firmly in her grasp. According to the main storyline, I could only nod and agree, but deep down, I was already grinning ear to ear. System. The main plot only has 3 key points. Right, I must board the yacht, expose the affair, and then be pushed into the sea. Everything else is up to me to arrange and improvise, isn't it? The system was left speechless by my question. Why yes, as long as the female lead ends up regretting it. No one cares about those minor details. So, amid everyone's scornful looks, I shamelessly boarded the yacht with them, and immediately became the target of ridicule again. Toady number 1 took the lead in mocking laughter. "You really are something. You simp, like a toad crawling onto someone's foot. You don't bite, but you're disgusting." The others instantly chimed in. "Exactly, George, you poor bastard. You still have the nerve to come along. What, are you here to work as a waiter again?" Makoto, with his arm around Willow's shoulder, laughed as well. "George, oh George, so what if you've been a simp for 4 whole years? Don't you still have to bow and scrape here like a servant? Willow, you should pay him a bit more wages. After all, after today, he won't have another chance to cling to you and leech benefits." Ha ha ha. Willow didn't dare look me in the eye. She just forced a smile and nodded. "We're classmates. After all, let's just celebrate properly today and stop talking about unhappy things." She pulled out my black card and said generously, "All expenses on the yacht today are on me. Have fun and don't hold back." I looked at her, laughed, and asked, "Are you sure?" A flash of irritation passed through Willow's eyes. "Get rid of all the irrelevant people on this yacht right now. I want my classmates to enjoy themselves to the fullest." I nodded and accepted the order, willingly playing the role of a servant just like the original owner, because the higher she was lifted, the harder she would fall. "Very well, Miss Liu, this yacht has 5 decks in total. If you want to clear the venue, you'll need to cover 50 million in ticket compensation. Would you like to swipe your card now? Or..." Before I could finish, Willow cut me off coldly. "We'll settle everything in one go after we're done having fun." "What? Is that tone because you're afraid I can't pay?" She waved the black card in her hand, her words laced with threat. "George, I don't like being questioned. Everyone's in a good mood today. Are you really going to ruin it for me?" She stepped closer and, in a coquettish whisper only the 2 of us could hear, said, "Be good. You promised to cooperate. Are you really willing to let me lose face in front of so many people?" If it were the original owner, he'd have been completely dazzled by now. After all, he and the female lead had grown up together, with the childhood sweethearts bonus stacked on top, and when he fell into a pool as a child, she had risked her life to save him. When he was at his loneliest, she stayed by his side, brainwashed from a young age. Deep down he had long believed he would marry no one but her in this lifetime. Unfortunately, I am not the original owner. Seeing that I didn't respond, Toady number 1 rolled up his sleeves, ready to teach me a lesson. "Don't push your luck. You simp. Willow tells you to do something. You do it. Keep yapping and I'll beat the shit out of you, believe it or not." I pretended to give in, nodding repeatedly, and immediately called the yacht manager to clear the venue. Only then did Willow lift her chin in satisfaction and lead everyone off to tour the yacht. Very soon, she realized something was wrong. Chapter 6. I had only taken over this yacht a few months ago, yet it had already been managed to perfection. Not only were there all kinds of luxury brand boutiques, bars, and fine dining restaurants, There were even a swimming pool, a golf course, and a bowling alley. It was practically a moving luxury castle. The system stared in shock before finally reacting. Holy shit. Host, don't tell me you're planning to. That's right. Since she loves playing the role of a rich heiress so much, how could I not build the stage for her to the absolute extreme? 2 months ago, I had already called the billionaire couple and asked them to help bring in various top-tier brands. All revenue on the yacht included my share. And that black card, hee hee. I couldn't help letting out a sinister chuckle, which instantly drew looks of disdain from the toadies. What's this country bumpkin simp laughing at? Look at that clueless, never seen the world face, so embarrassing. Toady number 1 cursed a couple of times, then happily pointed at the luxury boutique on the first deck. Willow, I didn't expect your yacht to actually have an LV store. Can we go in and take a look? Willow smiled and nodded. Of course, pick whatever you like, consider it my graduation gift to you all. Everyone's eyes lit up instantly. Really? Oh my god, I never thought I'd own my first luxury item this soon. Willow, you're seriously amazing. Having a friend like you must be a blessing earned over 3 lifetimes. Like a herd of wild horses breaking loose, everyone rushed into the store at once. The store manager, who had been about to frown and stop them, changed expression the moment she caught sight of me. She stepped forward to greet me, but I stopped her with a single glance. The group ran around the store wildly, grabbing and scrambling in exaggerated fashion, afraid that if they were even a second slower, all the good stuff would be gone. Makoto was the most over the top of all. He grabbed a shopping cart and started shoveling things in like crazy. Clothes, ties, bags, jewelry. He stuffed the cart full. The scene looked exactly like elderly people fighting over discounted eggs at a supermarket. They were one step away from stripping the shelves bare. Noticing my expression darken, as if I were holding something back, Willow thoughtfully came over and whispered ingratiatingly, "George, do you want me to pick out a few things for you too?" I sneered inwardly. What was this supposed to be? Using my black card to buy me gifts? Truly, two-faced to the core, cheap, yet pretending to be virtuous. Just as I was about to refuse, Makoto rolled his eyes, yanked a belt out of the shopping cart, and flung it at me. "Willow, you're way too nice to this simp." "Hey, dead simp, do you even deserve to use luxury goods? This belt is barely worthy of your broke-ass vibe." The belt flew toward my face. I stepped back a few paces and coldly dodged it. Willow's expression instantly turned ugly, afraid she might get angry. Makoto quickly redirected his fury at me. "You simp, how dare you look down on a belt Willow gave you? That one belt costs more than you'd earn working for months." The other toadies piled on as well. "A pig that can't appreciate fine grain, hurry up and pick it up already." As if afraid I might explode and ruin the show, Willow hurriedly bent down herself, picked up the belt, and shoved it into my hands. "George, just keep it for now," she said softly, her fingertips brushing lightly against my palm. "Later, I'll give you an even better gift." That coquettish, perfectly calibrated softness she always used to control the male lead. I had to admit, it really was something. See, Willow is kind-hearted, still caring about this simp's dignity. Exactly. Even if he wears that belt, people will just think it's a fake, still not presentable. I quietly listened to their mockery and lowered my head. The system announced excitedly, "The female lead's regret value has risen to 20. She's softening." I sneered. "I'm not planning to complete the mission by playing pitiful and selling misery. Just wait and see." Next, surrounded by the crowd, Willow began leading everyone through the decks, one indulgence after another. Chapter 7. On the second-floor restaurant, they barked orders at the chefs with arrogant gestures. They deliberately picked the most expensive ingredients, even demanding the priciest bird's nest just to rinse their mouths. After eating and drinking their fill, someone suggested heading to the third-floor bowling alley to digest. Fueled by alcohol, Makoto grew even more unrestrained and asked arrogantly, "Do you know how people in high society play bowling?" All the toadies' eyes lit up. "How?" Grinning, he ordered me, "Go tell them to replace all the bowling pins with red wine." Nothing later than 82. I looked at Willow. She forced a smile and nodded. "Go on. It's rare for everyone to be this happy today." This kind of absurdly extravagant entertainment would probably make even the richest man click his tongue in disbelief. Still, I had people carry it out as instructed. 1 round, 10 bottles of red wine, each worth 80,000, shattered one after another as Makoto's bowling ball smashed into them. The other toadies clapped and hooped in delight, scrambling to join this ridiculous game. Finally, after they had smashed hundreds of bottles of priceless wine, they arrived at the 4th-floor banquet hall. Dazzling lights, a massive champagne tower. At the yacht manager's signal, a gigantic cake reading, "Happy Graduation," was wheeled in. Everyone completely let loose, clinking glasses and laughing wildly. The toadies were all flushed red from drinking. Makoto called over a server, poured a glass of limited edition red wine, and handed it to Willow. "To us. Cheers." After Willow drank it, She soon began complaining of feeling hot. There's an open-air pool on the 5th deck. Willow, let me take you up there to cool off. Makoto supported her as they went upstairs. The drug worked. Time to catch them in the act. This scene is about to wrap up. The system said excitedly. I was just about to nod when Toady number 1 led a group to surround me. Only because Willow's soft-hearted did she let a simp like you come along for a taste. Once we disembark tomorrow, you, son of a nanny, won't even be worthy of carrying our shoes. I didn't get angry. I silently counted down in my head. Finally, the system reminded me to go to the private room and trigger the catching adultery scene. Good dogs don't block the road. Get lost. I slapped them aside one by one and stormed upstairs, kicking open the private room door. Willow and Makoto were rolling on the bed, kissing each other. You bitch, I treated you so well, this is how you repay me. I kicked Makoto flying, then swung a hard slap across Willow's face, grabbing her hair. I added several more slaps, officially settling some personal scores. I'm in love with Willow. What business is it of a mad dog like you? Makoto, just like in the original story, started fighting with me. We struggled all the way onto the deck. Amid everyone's screams, splash, I was pushed into the sea. The yacht manager soon arrived with the police to arrest Makoto. Just like in the original plot, he began making excuses. He attacked us first. At most, we acted in excessive self-defense. Willow had sobered up with reddened eyes. She looked at him suspiciously. She knew she must have been drugged. Otherwise, no matter how much she liked Makoto, she would never sleep with him right under my nose. After all, she understood the difference between one full meal and a lifetime of meals. She had always prided herself on being pure, all to keep me hanging and make me more obsessed with her. Yet she had almost foolishly given herself to Makoto. The more Willow thought about it, the angrier she became. She shrieked at him. You said we were going swimming. Why did you bring me to a room while I was drunk? Seeing the truth about to come out, Makoto panicked and shouted. Willow, something must have been wrong with the wine we drank. It was that server who did it. Because of her feelings for Makoto and the trust she placed in him, Willow immediately allowed him to drag an innocent person down with him. She raised her hand and pointed at the server who had brought the wine, yelling angrily. Yes, officer. She was acting suspicious the whole time, covering her face. It must have been her. Arrest her now. The next second, the server tore off her mask and hat and slapped Willow hard across the face. You pig-brained idiot. You were about to be set up and didn't even realize it. Willow covered her face, completely stunned. Mom, why is it you? Chapter 8. In the original story, the server who was nearly framed was an innocent girl. Because Willow wanted to protect her first love, the two of them insisted it was the girl who had drugged her. That poor female server was arrested on the spot as a suspect, since Makoto had planted evidence in advance. Sedatives were found in her pocket, and she suffered an entirely undeserved prison sentence. But this time, things were different. After fully understanding the plot, I immediately found a way to trick Willow's mother into coming aboard. I told her that today, on the yacht, I was going to propose to her daughter. I even asked her to disguise herself as a server to act as a witness, to appear at the most touching moment, and give Willow a surprise she would never forget. Willow's mother was hesitant at first. I said, Auntie Lou, you watched Willow and me grow up together. My parents don't agree to me marrying her at all. They want me to enter a business marriage with someone of equal status. So I plan to act first and report later. Once I propose and Willow and I make things irreversible, even if my parents object, they won't be able to do anything. Over the years, the reason the male lead let Willow toy with him however she liked was precisely because of his lovesick brain. He couldn't let his billionaire parents know the truth, so he could only keep the relationship underground. I cleverly exploited this point and successfully persuaded Willow's mother. Now, not only did she fail to witness a proposal, she was even pointed at as the criminal by her own daughter and that pretentious coquette man. She nearly exploded on the spot and slapped Willow Lou several more times. Hard. So you're a damn ungrateful wretch. How dare you slander your own mother? Why can't I be here? If I hadn't been here today, I'd never have known you made such a huge mistake. What does this pretty boy have that's better than George? And you let yourself fool around with him, throwing yourself into his arms. In Willow's mother's eyes, the talk of being drugged was nothing but an excuse. The real reason Willow had treated me that way all along was because of this pretty boy. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She reached out, grabbed Makoto by the hair, and spat viciously in his face. You little pretty boy. Seducing my daughter and even pushing my son-in-law into the sea. Today I'm going to teach you a lesson. Makoto roared in pain and turned to Willow for help, but Willow's attitude had completely changed. Makoto, the drug in the wine was yours, wasn't it? My mother would never harm me. You not only drugged me and tried to defile me, you even pushed George into the sea. At this point, just confess. Once again, just like in the main storyline, she shoved all the blame entirely onto Makoto. The system urged me on urgently as I watched the spectacle from the surveillance room. Host. This is the final plot point. Hurry and pretend to be drowning. Get ready to receive the female lead's huge confession of remorse. In the original story, after the male lead was rescued, he fell into a coma due to severe drowning. When the female lead saw him like that, her regret value instantly shot up to 80 points. But it wasn't because she truly cared about him, it was fear. She was afraid he might die. Afraid there would be no more scapegoat to fund her extravagance. And afraid the billionaire couple would come after her. But what I wanted was for her to genuinely regret everything. Why pretend to be drowning? I arranged rescue boats below precisely so I could slap her in the face in person. After saying that, amid the system's total mental breakdown, I strode onto the 5th deck of the yacht and appeared before everyone. Chapter 9. Willow lunged at me in agitation, checking me from head to toe. George, are you okay? This is all my fault. I shouldn't have come here with him. Believe me, I was drugged. That's why I acted like that. I didn't do anything that betrayed you. I coldly shook her off and laughed. Stop acting. If you were really unwilling, you wouldn't have ditched me and followed him up here. I caught you in bed together. What's left to say? We're done. Break up. The system instantly broadcasted. Female lead regret value, 80%. Host. The remaining 20% requires your parents to arrive by helicopter, see you unconscious, fly into a rage, and announce they'll kick the female lead and her mother out of the Wong group. You read perfectly fine right now. How are we supposed to continue? The system was on the verge of collapse. I, however, pulled a confident smile. George, my mom can testify for me. Everything really was Makoto's doing. Willow grabbed my hand, explaining anxiously. Willow's mother hurriedly echoed her. That's right, young master. I can testify. It was that pretty boy who tampered with the wine. Officer, arrest him and interrogate him immediately. He must be carrying evidence. The mother and daughter sang in perfect unison. Makoto finally snapped and tore off all pretenses. Willow, it was clearly your mom who drugged you. Now you want me to take the fall. Officer, the drug was planted by that old woman. Search her if you don't believe me. The police separated the two and took them into private rooms. The search results came back quickly. Sure enough, a small vial of aphrodisiac was found in the apron pocket on Willow's mother. It perfectly matched Willow's symptoms. Willow's mother was immediately handcuffed as a suspect. The toadies who had been watching the spectacle were completely stunned. What the hell is going on? Isn't Willow a rich heiress? How is her mom a maid? She even called George young master. My brain's a mess. I sneered at them. All these years, Willow used my black card and my resources to build her fake persona, and you idiots believed every word. When I doted on her, I naturally played along and helped her act. But now I've seen through her ugly, vain true colors, so this show ends here. I snapped my fingers. The yacht manager hurried over and presented tonight's bill to Willow. Miss Liu, tonight you and your friend spent a total of 58 million. Please make payment. Willow clenched her teeth and pulled out my black card. Beep. The machine blared an alarm. Invalid card. Transaction failed. Miss Liu, this card is no longer valid. Do you have another payment method? Willow Liu's face turned deathly pale. She looked at me, who was clearly enjoying the show, and shrieked. George, did you give me a fake black card? Chapter 10. I scoffed. If it were fake, how did you live so comfortably with it for the past few months? Of course I cancelled it just now, you idiot. You didn't seriously think you could cheat on me, put a green hat on my head, and still spend my money while treating me like a sucker, did you? The entire crowd erupted. The toadies' expressions shattered on the spot. What? That black card was actually George's. Toady number 1 immediately rushed over, bowing and scraping as he apologized. Young Master Wong, we're so sorry. We were blind and couldn't recognize greatness. Who would have thought Willow was such a gold-digging bitch? I'll curse her out for you right now. He spat right in Willow's face, making her shriek in fury. So this is what you all are, shameless trash who only know how to suck up to power and kick people when they're down. Tonight's expenses are on you yourselves. Don't even think about dumping them on me. Especially you, Makoto. You took so many luxury items and smashed so much wine, don't you dare deny it. The manager's face instantly darkened. Miss Liu, are you trying to default on the bill? I'm not. I barely spent anything tonight. They took the items. They smashed the wine. Why should I pay? Willow's face flushed red as she lunged forward, trying to grab my hand. George, I know I was wrong. From now on I'll cut ties with all of them and be good to you alone. This yacht is yours. They're all your people. Please tell them not to make things hard for me. Okay. I stepped back a few paces and sneered. Willow, how do you even have the face to say that to me? When I treated you like a person, you refused the respect. Now you're barking like a dog. What for? You were the one who patted your chest and said you'd cover all expenses. Don't tell me you're planning to be a shameless liar now. She trembled from my scolding, while the toadies also turned on her. That's right. You said it yourself, now you won't admit it. The surveillance cameras caught everything. Officer, arrest this bitch for trying to dodge her debts. Not wanting to give up the luxury goods already in their hands, they immediately turned on her en masse. The police, however, stated that a verbal promise alone wasn't legally binding. They would each have to bear responsibility for their own expenses. Wailing, the toadies returned the luxury items they hadn't even had time to enjoy, but the delicacies they had eaten and the priceless wine they had smashed amounted to a staggering sum. Even if they sold everything they owned, they still couldn't afford it. In the end, they were all arrested, awaiting judicial trial. Some of the toadies tried to kneel and beg me for mercy, only to be viciously cursed back. A bunch of brain-dead trash with your intestines connected straight to your heads, nothing but shit coming out of your mouths. Eyes grown in your asses. Don't beg me, you disgust me. Trash belongs in the trash heap. If you don't know how to behave like humans, I'll teach you. Go inside and reflect properly. You garbage. They were scolded into silence, their earlier arrogance completely gone. Makoto's family had some money. His parents soon arrived and paid his share. Willow owed the most. Her mother had already been arrested as a suspect, and there was no one to help her pay. She could only be escorted to the police station as well. Before leaving, she cried and begged me to save her. I refused without hesitation. Willow, you wanted to build a fake persona with my money, flirt with a pretty boy, and nearly got me killed. You did all of this yourself. I'm bored. I'm done playing along. Go to the police station and repent. The moment my words fell, the regret value above Willow's head shot up to 99. The system was stunned. Insane. Host, just one more point and the mission is complete. I smiled at the leading officer and said, Officer, I'd also like to report her for stealing my black card and spending over 100 million with it over the past few months. I only discovered it today, which is why I immediately canceled the card. I'm charging her with theft and fraud. Chapter 11. Under my final, soul-crushing blow, Willow's face turned deathly pale as she screamed, You're lying. George, that black card was something you voluntarily gave me. Oh, I raised a brow. Do you have any proof? You don't, but I do. Smiling, I pulled out a thick stack of records and handed them to the police. She previously used my secondary card without authorization. After I discovered it, I canceled it to stop the losses. I never expected her to go completely insane and actually steal my primary card as well. Officers, these are all the signed transaction slips from when she fraudulently used both of my cards. The stores all have surveillance footage too. I was never informed, never present, and never gave consent. There was never any gift, agreement, or authorization between us. Everything she did was a long-term, illegal possession and use of my property without my permission. In that instant, Willow's expression froze completely. The regret value above her head, which had just been at 99, instantly maxed out at 100. The system was ecstatic. Congratulations. Host, mission complete. George, you can't do this to me. Willow screamed as she lunged toward me, only to be swiftly restrained and shoved into the police car. Later, through the surveillance I had arranged in advance, the police confirmed that Willow's mother had been framed by Makoto. The drugs found in her apron pocket had been secretly planted there by him. Makoto's real method had been hiding the drug under his fingernails and dipping it into Willow's drink. In the end, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison for attempted rape, intentional injury, and attempted murder. Those toadies were each sentenced to 6 months detention, with a 1-year suspended sentence. Before paying off their massive civil compensation, they were all placed on the blacklist for dishonesty, becoming bona fide debt defaulters. For fresh graduates just about to enter society, this was a fatal blow. Their lives were essentially cut off from any decent future employment. As for Willow, due to fraud and theft involving an especially enormous sum, she was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and all legally registered assets under her name were confiscated. It just so happened that all those assets had originally been gifts from me, firmly held in her mother's hands. After watching her chance to marry up, along with villas and luxury cars, all get seized by the courts, Willow's mother suffered a stroke from the shock and was left paralyzed. But even that was insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Willow's future was now permanently bound to lifelong debt. My mission was finally completed in full. The system informed me, Host, the 300 million bonus has been credited. Due to your outstanding performance, we've decided to grant you an additional reward. Do you have any other wishes? I thought for a moment and asked tentatively, Can I choose immortality? No. Wishes cannot violate the natural laws of the original world. Then let my whole family live free of illness and disaster, healthy, safe, and long-lived. After all, with this much money, I needed to enjoy it properly, with them. Granted, as you wish. In a burst of light, I returned to my original home, a life of wealth and health. Here I come.